Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we really get into the weeds, take a huge pile of research, analysis, expert insights, and boil it all down for you into clear, actionable knowledge. And today, we're tackling something huge, something that causes, well, a lot of stress for ambitious students, maybe for you listening right now. It's that age-old struggle, right? Balancing tough academics with, being really successful in extracurriculars too. We're diving deep into that core conflict, that feeling like you're aiming for 100% everywhere, but the clock's just working against you. We've synthesized a ton of material on this. We're looking at the structure of the imbalance, digging into the causes, and laying out 30 really specific strategies, things you can actually do to find some equilibrium, between the schoolwork and everything else. So if you're feeling burnt out, trying to be brilliant at everything, this deep dive, it's your shortcut to getting structured again.
Exactly. And let's be really clear up front. This isn't just about managing your time a bit better. What we're offering here is more fundamental. It's a blueprint for understanding the actual structure of achievement that lasts. The goal isn't just dividing up your hours on a calendar. It's about building real internal discipline.
Okay, so what does that mean? Disciplined organization.
That's part of it. Disciplined organization, making sure your goals line up, and this is crucial, conscious self-regulation. Knowing your limits. We're talking directly to that really enthusiastic student, maybe a bit of a perfectionist, the one driving hard everywhere.
Academics, activities.
Right, and they often just hit a wall,
Yeah.
burnout, because they haven't really learned to gauge their own capacity.
Their limits.
Yeah, their limits. So our focus is on achieving big things, yes, but doing it in a way you can actually sustain without crashing.
Okay, so let's really unpack this. I mean, we've all seen it, maybe lived it, but how do we formally define this imbalance?
Well, the term used is inability to balance co-curricular and academic work. And it basically means having significant trouble managing, well, everything.
Your time, your energy.
Your mental focus.
Yeah.
Juggling those core academic tasks, homework, prepping for exams, just plain studying.
Right, the stuff you have to do for school.
Exactly. And balancing that with all the extensive extracurriculars, sports, maybe debate, music, clubs.
Whatever pulls you in.
And the consequence, it can be pretty devastating, honestly, because this constant conflict, it forces you into a corner. You have to make a choice.
Something's got to give.
Something always gives. Typically, performance dips in one area, or, in the really tough cases we've looked at, it leads to total burnout.
Compromising both sides, then.
Absolutely. Both sides suffer. So think about it. When that massive competition or the big performance is looming, what usually takes the hit?
Oh, academics. Almost every time, right?
Yeah.
The deadline for the debate brief, the pressure for the play,
Yeah.
that feels urgent.
It's immediate.
And that pushes the maybe less urgent, but definitely important chemistry homework back to 11 p.m.
And the quality just tanks.
Yeah. You end up handing in rushed work. You compromise that deep learning you need long term.
All for that immediate buzz from the activity, the spotlight.
It's a tough trade-off.
It really is. And that's why it's so important to pause here and say, look, the activities themselves, they aren't the enemy.
Right. They're actually essential.
Totally essential. They build creativity, confidence, those vital social skills, leadership,
Yeah.
things you don't always get just from hitting the books.
They're meant to complement your education, right?
Yeah.
Build a whole person.
Exactly. A holistic profile. But here's the catch, the crucial missing piece.
Okay.
When that structured time management, that rigorous prioritizing, when that's missing, all those benefits just get buried.
How so?
Well, the lack of structure leads straight to those academic slip-ups we talked about, that constant feeling of being drained, emotionally fatigued.
And eventually you just lose motivation for everything.
Your motivation just plummets. Things that used to be fun, studies or activities, they just start feeling like burdens you have to carry.
So the answer isn't just quit the drama club.
Definitely not. It's about finding harmony. Harmonization.
Okay, harmonization. But what does that mean in an educational context?
It means finding equilibrium and that balance. It's actually a core competency for a truly holistic education. We see this spelled out now in modern frameworks, like the CBSE 2023 guideline, which emphasizes competency-based learning.
And balance is part of being competent.
It is. You can't really claim to be a competent, well-rounded student if you're constantly stressed out, rushing assignments, or, failing in one area because the other is just too demanding.
So the balance is the foundation. It's not just a nice to have.
Precisely. It is the foundation for truly thriving.
All right, let's get into the why. Why do these driven, high-achieving students end up in this state? It feels so unsustainable.
It is. And the sources we looked at break down the root causes into three main areas.
3 spheres.
Yeah. First, there's the personal and psychological stuff, the internal battles. Then institutional and environmental factors, things within the school system itself. And finally, family and societal causes the pressures from outside.
Okay, let's start inside the student's head. Personal and psychological. This sounds like where self-regulation kind of breaks down.
Absolutely. And the first big one, it sounds simple, but it's devastating. A lack of planning skills.
Just not knowing how to plan. Even smart students.
Even really smart students.
Yeah.
They often haven't learned to accurately estimate how much effort things actually take.
Like they underestimate the time needed.
Constantly. They'll look at, say, a 10-page essay and think, oh yeah, I can knock that out in an hour.
Been there.
Right. But they forget about the research time, the drafting, the proofreading, and maybe they just came from 6 hours of intense sports practice.
Yeah, the energy level isn't factored in.
Not at all. And that poor planning leads directly to the next issue, overcommitment.
Saying yes to everything.
Pretty much. There's this pressure, maybe internal, maybe external, to join every club, try every activity. Math club, newspaper, varsity team.
Build that perfect resume.
Exactly. But they end up spreading themselves so thin, participating in way too many things at once, their focus gets diluted.
So they're doing like 8 things okay-ish instead of 3 things really well.
Precisely. Which brings us to low prioritization ability. This is about knowing what truly matters when.
Okay, explain that.
Well, think about Stephen Covey's time management matrix. It helps distinguish between tasks that are urgent, they demand attention right now, like a notification popping up, and tasks that are truly important, ones that contribute to your long-term goals,
Yeah.
like actually understanding last week's physics lessons.
Okay, but I can see a challenge here, especially for a teenager. When you're 16, doesn't everything feel urgent?
That's a really great point. It often does.
How does a student tell the difference between, say, the urgent deadline for the debate brief and the urgent social pressure of missing practice? Both feel like potential catastrophes.
Yeah, the immediate consequences feel huge. Miss practice, you might get benched. Miss a deadline, you get a 0.
Right. Visible consequences.
Whereas the important academic work, like reviewing concepts, the consequence is delayed, maybe doesn't hit until the final exam.
So how do you teach them to prioritize?
We suggest prioritizing based on long-term goal alignment. Ask yourself, is missing this one practice truly detrimental to my long-term well-being or college goals? Probably not.
Okay.
But is failing to build a solid understanding of this concept going to potentially derail my academic path later?
Yes. So schedule the important stuff first, even if it feels less exciting.
Okay, schedule it like an appointment, even if the urgent stuff is screaming louder.
Got it. And then there's the big one, procrastination.
Ah, yes, the universal struggle. But often for these students, it's less about laziness and more about energy management.
How so?
Think about it. You delay the hard academic task because the immediate reward or excitement from the activity being active, social, performing is just way more appealing.
Especially after a long, draining day already.
Exactly. Why tackle dense reading when you could be at practice? It's a psychological trade-off. Immediate fun now for delayed pain later.
Makes sense. And the last, personal one?
This one's huge for this specific group. The crippling perfectionist attitude.
The need to be 100% perfect at everything.
All the time. They have this exhausting, self-imposed drive. Anything less than flawless feels like failure.
That sounds utterly exhausting.
It is utterly exhausting.
Yeah.
And literally unsustainable. No human brain can maintain that peak level of output indefinitely across so many different areas. It inevitably leads to mental and physical burnout.
Okay, so those are the internal struggles. What about the external factors, the school environment itself?
Right, the institutional and environmental causes. These are the clashes within the school structure that make life harder, even for the most organized student.
Like what?
Well, the most obvious one is overlapping schedules, real-world clashes.
You mean like a key science lab scheduled at the exact same time as mandatory band practice?
Precisely. Or a student has to miss a crucial week of math for an inter-school competition. They get back, and there's no built-in way to catch up.
No structured support.
Often, no mandatory remediation session. They're expected to catch up entirely on their own time, usually by sacrificing sleep or weekends.
Which just feeds the burnout cycle.
Exactly. And compounding that is sometimes just the sheer volume of excessive school events.
Like everything happening at once.
Yeah. A cultural fest one week,
Mm-hmm.
then mandatory sports day, then midterm exams right after, all crammed into a short period. It just obliterates any chance of a stable schedule.
It eats up all the breathing room for studying.
Totally. And if a school really promotes excellence in activities, which is great, it must also provide the academic support to go with it.
But often that's missing, the lack of academic support.
Too often, yes. No structured programs designed specifically to help students catch up on work missed due to school-sanctioned activities.
So the school encourages them to go, but then leaves them hanging academically.
It puts the entire recovery burden squarely on the already exhausted student.
That seems unfair.
It is. And then there's the simple lack of coordination, insufficient guidance.
Meaning teachers and coaches aren't talking to each other.
Often, yes, teachers, coaches, mentors, they might not coordinate schedules or align their expectations. The coach demands 100% commitment. The teacher needs that essay on time.
And the student is stuck in the middle.
Caught between conflicting, non-negotiable demands. It's incredibly stressful.
Okay, internal factors, institutional factors.
Yeah.
What about the pressures from outside school?
The family and societal causes. This is where the pressure cooker really heats up.
Parental expectations.
That's often number one. Intense parental expectation of all-around excellence. Now, this usually comes from a place of love, wanting the best.
Sure.
But it translates into this pressure to be perfect simultaneously in academics and in their chosen talent or sport. Get a 95% average and win the state championship.
That sounds impossible for most people.
It puts the child in an impossible bind. And this feeds right into the bigger cultural story, doesn't it?
The societal emphasis on multi-talented profiles.
Exactly. Students soak up this message that they must build these incredibly diverse, sometimes contradictory resumes. Straight A's, captain of the team, fluent in Mandarin, volunteering.
All for the college application game.
It becomes an achievement arms race. Rewarding breadth, often at the expense of any real depth or, frankly, sanity.
It sounds incredibly stressful just hearing about it.
It is. And finally, something more structural but very important. The lack of home routine.
What does that mean?
If the home environment itself lacks structure, it undermines everything the student tries to do.
Like no set dinner time, no quiet place to study.
Exactly. If dinner time changes every night, if there's no dedicated quiet study space, or if family activities constantly interrupt planned study blocks, it makes self-regulation almost impossible.
Structure at home supports structure outside.
You need that foundation. It's critical. Okay, so we understand the roots of the struggle, but knowing the causes is one thing. Recognizing the symptoms in yourself, or maybe in your child, that's the first real step towards doing something about it.
Right, the warning signs.
Exactly. Think of this section as like a diagnostic tool if you're listening. We've grouped the signs into 3 categories: academic, behavioral, and emotional social.
Let's start with the concrete stuff, the academic indicators, the hard evidence that things are going off track.
Okay, first, look for missed assignments or work that's handed in, but it's clearly rushed, sloppy, not up to their usual standard.
A noticeable drop in quality.
Yeah, and maybe even more concerning, a noticeable drop in their actual performance, their grades. Not because they suddenly got less smart.
But because they're not getting the core concepts.
Precisely. That foundational understanding is eroding because they just don't have enough focused time. They might show up to class seeming distracted, unprepared.
Which for a normally driven student, that's a huge red flag, isn't it?
Massive red flag.
Okay, so academic signs. What about how they act? The behavioral indicators.
This is how the overload shows up physically, the most common one. Constant deep fatigue.
Just always tired.
Always tired, trying to catch naps during breaks, maybe even nodding off in class. You'll also see less enthusiasm for their studies. Things they used to find interesting just become a chore, drudgery.
The spark goes out a bit.
It really does. And look for those visible stress coping mechanisms. Skipping meals to finish something, cutting back on sleep consistently.
Sacrificing basic needs.
Right. And listen to how they talk. Are they constantly saying things like, I'm too busy, I have no time, I'm overwhelmed?
That self-reporting is data.
It's crucial data. It signals they've likely breached their mental capacity limit.
And internally, what's going on inside? The emotional and social indicators.
This is where the internal distress really shows. You see frustration, anxiety, maybe intense guilt over the academic work they know they're neglecting.
Because they're at practice or rehearsal instead of studying.
Exactly. It creates this powerful internal conflict. They might also start withdrawing socially. pulling back from friends because their schedule is just so packed, they have zero bandwidth left for hanging out.
No energy for socializing.
None. And you might see mood swings or noticeable irritability, especially peaking right before big events or exams when the pressure is highest.
Wow. That's a lot of stress.
It's immense.
Yeah.
And the danger is, when this becomes chronic, the impact goes way beyond just a bad grade or a tough week.
Right, the long-term consequences. What do those look like?
Well, first, there's the risk of real academic regression. If you consistently skip foundational concepts, you build incomplete learning. That hobbles you in more advanced classes later on.
You can't build calculus on shaky algebra.
Exactly. Then there's the profound physical and emotional fatigue. That constant low energy impacts concentration, creativity, everything. Plus, disrupted sleep, poor nutrition that takes a long-term toll on physical health.
It's a whole system breakdown.
It really is. And maybe one of the saddest outcomes is the loss of enjoyment.
Losing the love for the things they used to enjoy.
Yeah. When activities and even studies become just items on a checklist, things you have to do for external validation, the intrinsic motivation, it just dies.
That sets a bad pattern for life, chasing external goals.
It can. And all this overload, this stress, it's the fast track to burnout, which often explodes outwards as interpersonal strain.
Conflicts.
Yeah, conflicts with teachers over missed work, with parents over expectations, even with friends, because they're stressed and irritable, frayed nerves everywhere.
This all sounds pretty bleak, but I know there's research backing this up and maybe pointing towards a solution.
Absolutely. This isn't just anecdotal. The data is quite stark. For instance, an APA adolescent psychology study back in 2022 found 61%, that's over half, of students reported difficulty maintaining this balance.
61%. And what did they blame?
Primarily poor scheduling habits and trying to multitask way too much. It shows this isn't just a few kids struggling, it's a widespread skill deficit.
Okay, but you mentioned a solution, or at least an incentive.
Yes. This is the really encouraging part. A University of Cambridge report from 2020 didn't just look at the strugglers. They studied the students who were managing it well.
And what did they find?
They found that students who effectively allocate fixed, protected time slots for academics alongside their structured activity hours, they showed, on average, an 18% higher overall performance.
Wow, 18% higher. That's significant.
It's huge, and it provides a really tangible reward. It shows that getting structured, getting disciplined with your schedule doesn't limit your success. It actually amplifies it. Chaos holds you back.
So structure unlocks potential.
That's the key message. And the success, it's rooted in some solid psychological theories we've touched on.
Like Covey's matrix for sorting tasks.
Right. And beyond that, the ability to actually implement these strategies and get that 18% boost, that relies heavily on Albert Bandura's self-regulation theory.
Self-regulation. Controlling yourself.
In a structured way, yes. Bandura's theory highlights the need for intentional steps. You have to set clear goals. You need to monitor your own progress honestly. And you have to use feedback, whether from grades or just how you feel, to adjust your behavior.
So it's about teaching students to be active managers of their own time and energy.
Exactly. Not just passive victims of their schedule. They need to become the regulated CEO of you, Inc.
Okay, CEO of You, Inc. I like that. That's the challenge, right? Moving from understanding the problem in the theories to actually doing something. Implementation. We've defined the problem, we've dissected the causes, seen the burnout, but also seen that 18% performance boost as the prize. So now let's pivot hard into the actionable steps, those 30 strategies you mentioned, designed to build time discipline, goal clarity, and that emotional resilience.
Let's do it. We need to get practical. We'll group them for clarity, starting with the absolute foundation. A, time management and organization. These are the structural fixes.
Laying the groundwork.
Precisely. Strategy 1 is basic but essential. Create a detailed weekly planner. Map out your known commitments.
Okay. But what's strategy 2?
Strategy 2 is the powerhouse. You have to implement the time blocking method.
Time blocking, what exactly is that?
It means dedicating specific, non-negotiable blocks of time in your planner just for academic work. And you treat those blocks like concrete appointments.
Like a doctor's appointment you absolutely cannot miss.
Exactly. That 2-hour block for history revision on Tuesday night, it's locked in. You don't schedule over it. You don't push it back easily.
I'm a bit skeptical. How is that really different from just having a detailed to-do list? Most high achievers I know live by their lists.
That's a fair question. Here's the difference. A to-do list is aspirational. It says what you hope to do or should do.
Right.
But it doesn't actually commit the resources, the specific time, and maybe even the location needed to get it done, time blocking is an implementation intention.
An intention to implement.
Yes. When you write study chemistry 7 p.m., 9 p.m. in the library, on your schedule, you're making a concrete plan, a contract with yourself.
So if the debate coach calls at 7:05,
You can genuinely say, sorry, I'm scheduled for something else right now, because you are. It removes that moment-to-moment decision fatigue. Should I study now or later? No, it's scheduled for now.
I see. It forces you to confront the reality of your limited hours. You can't just keep adding to a list indefinitely.
Precisely. It shows you the truth of your capacity. Then strategy 3 builds on this daily. Prepare a to-do priority list each morning. But critically, categorize the tasks.
Categorize how?
Using that urgent important idea, split tasks into must-do, high urgency, high importance, should-do important, but maybe less time-sensitive, and can't-wait things that would be nice but aren't critical today.
So Covey's matrix as a daily checklist.
Basically, yes. Then strategy 4 gives you a tool for within those study blocks, the Pomodoro Technique.
Ah, the tomato timer. Heard of this?
Right. You work in highly focused sprints, typically 25 minutes, and take a mandatory short break, maybe 5 minutes.
Why does it work?
The key is committing fully for just that 25 minutes, knowing a break is coming. It makes large tasks feel less daunting. And it helps maintain peak focus because you're not trying to sustain it for hours on end. You reset every 30 minutes.
Prevents mental fatigue during the block.
Exactly. And strategy 5 is your safety net. Reserve one afternoon or evening each week, maybe Sunday afternoon, as a dedicated academic catch-up time.
This isn't for fun stuff.
No, this is protected buffer time. If you missed a class because of that competition, or if a concept didn't quite click, this is your scheduled time to address it without sacrificing other commitments or sleep.
Okay, structural fixes.
Mhm.
What about when you do inevitably miss class time for an activity B, academic support strategy?
Right. This is about proactive damage control. Strategy 6 and 7 are crucial professionalism skills, frankly.
Which are
You need to coordinate with your teachers before an absence, whenever possible. Email them, explain the commitment respectfully, and then immediately arrange to get shared notes or summaries from a reliable classmate.
don't wait until you get back.
Absolutely not. If you know you'll be out Friday, aim to have those notes in hand by Thursday evening so you can review them over the weekend. Stay ahead.
Makes sense. We talked about tech solutions earlier.
Yes. Strategy 8 leverages your phone. Maybe record yourself explaining a key concept in a quick 2-minute audio note. You can listen back during your commute or waiting for practice to start.
Not a replacement for deep study, but good for recall.
Excellent for memory cues. And strategy 9 is about micro goals. Break down huge topics.
Like instead of study chapter 5.
Right. Make it master the definition of osmosis or understand the first theorem. If you only have a 20-minute window between activities, you can realistically achieve one micro goal, which feels productive.
Builds momentum.
Exactly. And the long view defense. Strategy 10. Create your exam preparation calendars early. Map out major revision milestones way before exam season hits.
Don't let exams sneak up on you when you're already busy with events.
Plan ahead. It reduces that last-minute panic significantly.
Okay, time management, academic support. What about the internal battle? The mental game. C, emotional and behavioral techniques.
This is about building internal resilience, protecting yourself from your own tendencies toward stress or perfectionism.
How?
Strategy 11 uses self-awareness. Keep a simple reflection journal, maybe just 5 minutes a day. Note when you felt most stressed and when you were most productive.
Track your patterns.
Yes. If you notice you always have high energy and focus between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m., guess what? That's when you should block out time for your hardest cognitive tasks. Work with your natural rhythms.
Smart. And strategy 12.
Strategy 12, daily mindfulness. Even just 10 minutes. Use an app, focus on your breath. It creates mental space. It quiets that frantic, monkey brain chatter about deadlines that plagues high achievers.
Calms the noise.
It really does. Now, strategies 13 and 14 are huge, especially for the perfectionists listening. Strategy 13 is about acknowledging your limits and learning the power of saying no.
Ah, saying no. That's hard, especially when you feel like every opportunity is crucial for that college application. How do you do it without feeling like a failure?
That's the key reframing. You don't frame no as failure, you frame it as a strategic choice about energy allocation.
Okay.
You could say, thank you for the opportunity, but my main focus this semester needs to be stabilizing my grades in subject so I can't take on a new leadership role right now.
So it's not, I can't handle it. It's, I'm choosing to focus my energy here.
Exactly. It shifts the mindset from perceived weakness to strategic strength. And strategy 14, tackles perfectionism head-on. Aim for consistent effort over flawless outcomes.
Consistent B plus beats burnout A plus followed by crash.
Absolutely. The sustained effort that keeps your mental health intact is far superior in the long run. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Keep showing up consistently.
The consistent effort wins. Got it.
It does. And to keep that effort going, strategy 15. Celebrate the small wins in both areas.
Acknowledge progress.
Yes. Finish that tough essay. Pat yourself on the back. Nail that presentation in your club. Acknowledge it. Recognizing progress fuels motivation for the long haul.
Okay, that covers individual strategies. What about the bigger picture? What can schools do? De-institutional and teacher interventions.
Right. Schools have a huge role to play. They need to be part of the solution, not just the source of pressure.
So what can they do? Strategy 16.
Strategy 16 requires teachers to be proactive. Actively monitor students who are heavily involved in co-curriculars, especially the high performers. Look for signs of imbalance.
Like if the star quarterback suddenly misses 3 homework assignments.
Exactly. The teacher's first step shouldn't be just a disciplinary note. It should be a supportive conversation. Hey, I noticed things are slipping a bit. Is everything okay? How's the balance going?
Open a dialogue.
Yes. And strategy 17 requires bold scheduling from the administration. Establish integrated timetables, meaning try to ensure that major practices, rehearsals, etc. happen outside of core academic periods whenever possible. If the crucial science labs are always at 3 p.m., maybe varsity practice needs to start consistently at 5 p.m., not 3.3.
That sounds like a logistical nightmare for schools.
It can be a challenge, absolutely. But if a school truly values holistic development, it's an essential challenge to tackle. It shows they respect academic time.
What else on the institutional side?
Strategy 18 and 19 focus on support systems. Schools could create dedicated study support cells.
For students missing class for competitions.
Exactly. Structured time, maybe with a peer tutor or a mentor, specifically to catch up on missed material, not just leaving it to chance. And strategy 19, make time management skills part of the curriculum.
Like mandatory life skills classes.
Yes, don't just assume students will figure this out. Teach prioritization, planning, stress management explicitly.
And changing the school culture.
That's strategy 20. Crucial. Recognize and celebrate balanced achievers during assemblies or awards.
Not just the top academic scorer or the sports MVP.
Right. Highlight the student who managed demanding academics and demanding activities successfully without burning out. That sends a powerful message about what the school truly values. Sustainable success.
Okay, school interventions. What about the home front? Parents, guardians, e-family, and parental measures.
Essential support network. These strategies are for the adults listening who are supporting a high-achieving student.
Strategy 21.
Strategy 21 and 22 are about teamwork and boundaries. First, discuss the weekly plan openly. Get the school schedule, the activity schedule, the home schedule, see where the conflicts are before they happen.
Elaborate.
Yes. And strategy 22, this takes courage. Parents might need to limit or even pause external coaching or intense rehearsals during critical exam weeks.
Push back against the external pressure?
Sometimes, yes. The student's academic well-being has to take priority during high-stakes periods. The parent might be the only one who can enforce that boundary.
Okay. What else at home?
Strategy 23 and 24 are about creating the right environment. Encourage and protect quiet, structured study time. Do not disturb policy during those focus blocks.
Respect the study time.
Absolutely. And strategy 24 is a fundamental shift in focus. Reinforce rest and good nutrition over just performance metrics.
So ask, did you sleep well? Before, what did you score?
Exactly. Ask, how are you feeling? Did you get enough rest? Prioritize the foundations of health. This teaches the student that their well-being underpins everything else.
That's a powerful message.
It is. And strategy 25 keeps the lines of communication open. Promote open dialogue about stress. Let the student feel safe saying, I'm overwhelmed, without fearing immediate criticism or punishment.
But they don't hide problems until it's a crisis.
Precisely. Early communication prevents bigger meltdowns.
Okay, last category. The modern minefield. F, self-discipline and digital balance. Phones, notifications.
The constant battle. Strategy 26 and 27 are non-negotiable for deep work. Strategy 26, gadgets physically away during study blocks, out of sight, out of mind, not just turned over on the desk.
Put it in another room.
Ideally, yes. And strategy 27, use focus apps. Things like Forest or Focus Booster. They gamify staying off your phone and provide accountability.
Makes the cost of distraction visible.
Instantly visible. Strategy 28 tackles the myth of multitasking. Avoid constantly switching between studying and checking phone notifications. Every time you switch, you break your focus.
That cognitive switching cost is huge, right?
Massive. It destroys the efficiency of those Pomodoro sprints. Stay focused on one thing.
And keeping track.
Strategy 29, weekly review. Every Sunday night, maybe. Look back. Did I meet my academic goals this week? Did I actually enjoy my activities, or did they feel like a burden? Was I exhausted?
An honest self-assessment.
Yes. And if you see a pattern of imbalance, consistently missing academic goals, feeling drained, you must be willing to adjust. That might mean reducing commitments for the next week or month.
Be prepared to cut back if needed.
It's essential for long-term survival. And finally, the strategy that underpins everything else we've discussed.
Strategy 30. Let me guess.
You got it. Strategy 30. Prioritize 7-8 hours of uninterrupted sleep every single night.
Non-negotiable.
Absolutely non-negotiable. The research is overwhelming.
Mm.
Sleep is when your brain consolidates learning, restores energy, regulates emotions. Without enough sleep, your memory fails, your concentration plummets, your emotional control goes out the window.
Making all those time management techniques basically useless.
Completely useless. Sleep is the foundation. Full stop.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've laid out the strategies, the structure for sustainability, but just knowing the strategies isn't enough. You need a way to monitor yourself, right?
Keep track of how you're actually doing.
Exactly. Connecting back to Bandura's self-regulation idea, self-monitoring is absolutely key to maintaining balance over time. So we need practical tools for that assessment.
Like a checkup for your balance.
Precisely. The first tool is a self-assessment checklist. This helps you put a number on your current state. So as you're listening, think about these behaviors over the last month or so. Rate yourself from 1, meaning never, to 5, meaning always or very often.
Okay, I'm ready. What's the first question?
1. Do I often miss my planned, non-negotiable academic study hours because a rehearsal ran late or something came up with my activity? 1 to 5.
Okay.
2. Do I feel chronically tired or find it hard to focus during my actual academic classes at school? 1 to 5. 3. Do my results, both grades and maybe performance in my activity, tend to fluctuate wildly? Like, I have a huge peak performance but then crash and burn right after. 1 to 5.
Got it.
4. Do I find it genuinely difficult to say no to new opportunities, new roles, new commitments, even when I know my schedule's already packed? 1 to 5.
That's a tough one. Okay.
And 5. Do I struggle to plan my day effectively? Do I often find myself scrambling to finish important tasks late at night? 1 to 5.
Okay, 5 questions. Now add up the score.
Add up your score. And here's the interpretation scale, the moment of truth.
Lay it on me.
If your total score is between 5 and 10, congratulations. That suggests a generally healthy balance. Keep doing what you're doing, maintain that structured planning, keep prioritizing rest. You're in a good place.
Okay, 5 to 10 is good. What's next?
If your score lands between 11 and 17, you're likely in moderate imbalance. This is probably the most common zone for high achievers.
What does that mean?
It means you're striving, you're achieving, but you might be relying too much on sheer willpower, maybe sacrificing sleep too often. You need to actively refine your prioritization. Really use that must-do, should-do, can-wait system. And definitely get serious about time blocking. Inject more discipline.
Okay, moderate imbalance needs refinement. What if the score is higher?
If you score between 18 and 25, this indicates severe imbalance. This is the red zone. Alarm bells should be ringing.
What do you do then?
Honestly, you need to take immediate action. This level suggests you likely need to significantly reduce your commitments, at least temporarily. Seek external guidance. Talk to a trusted teacher, a school counselor, a mentor. Your primary focus must shift to stabilizing your academic performance and your basic health, sleep, stress levels before even thinking about taking on anything new.
So 18 plus is a signal to actively pull back and seek help.
Absolutely, it's not sustainable. Now, beyond just a score, the sources also offer some really valuable reflection prompts. These questions push you to think more strategically about your life.
Go beyond the daily grind.
Exactly. Take some quiet time and really mull these over. First, which of my current commitments, all of them, academic and co-curricular, truly align with my long-term goals? Where do I actually want to be in 2 years, 5 years?
Be honest about alignment.
Very honest. Second, do I feel equally satisfied and kind of fulfilled after spending time on academic tasks versus my co-curricular activities? Or does one consistently drain me while the other energizes me?
Interesting. Checks the emotional balance.
Third, and this is tricky, how can I improve my use of time without cutting into my scheduled rest and sleep? Look for inefficiencies, not just more hours.
Work smarter, not just harder or longer.
Precisely. And finally, the accountability question. Who in my life, a parent, a specific teacher, a coach, a reliable friend, can help me stay accountable to the changes I want to make? Who can I check in with?
Don't try to do it all alone.
Building accountability is huge. These questions, they shift your mindset from just surviving week to week to actively designing a more balanced, sustainable life.
Okay, so we've got the checklist for diagnosis, reflection questions for strategy. What about simple habits? Things you can start doing tomorrow.
Yeah, rebalancing rituals. Simple, effective habits.
Like what?
Try ending each day with a quick 5-minute balance check. Ask yourself, what did I genuinely learn or accomplish today?
Epic.
Academic. And what activity or interaction really drained my energy today? Just notice.
Quick daily reflection.
Another powerful ritual. Try to keep Sundays, or at least one consistent day, half day, genuinely for rest and recharge. Not just for catching up on overdue work or extra rehearsals. True downtime.
Protect your rest day.
Protect it fiercely and work on your self-talk. Instead of thinking balance means compromising, try repeating. Balance is strength. Balance allows me to sustain my efforts, reframe it positively.
Balance is strength. I like that.
And one last simple but powerful habit. Make a rule to reward yourself for completing your planned academic targets before you dive into the really enjoyable activity, like going to practice or meeting your club.
So finish the physics problems before heading to band practice.
Exactly. It subtly reinforces the priority of the academic work in your own reward system. It gives it the weight it deserves, even if it's not always the most fun task in the moment. Hashtag outro.
Wow. We have covered an incredible amount of ground today, from, the deep psychological traps like perfectionism, all the way to really practical things like time blocking and even how schools schedule events. I think the core takeaway, the big message that keeps coming through is this: academic excellence and being brilliant in your activities. They're not opposites fighting each other.
Not at all. They should be complementary. Two sides of the same coin, really. Expressions of discipline, self-awareness, and that intentional self-regulation we talked about.
Right. And remembering that 18% performance boost.
Exactly. Balance isn't about giving everything exactly equal time on the clock. That's usually impossible. It's about giving each important responsibility the focused attention it deserves, when it deserves it.
Attention, not just time.
Focused attention. The students who really master this art, the art of focus, managing their energy, regulating their emotions, they're the ones who succeed sustainably, both in the classroom and outside it.
Because they build that resilient structure for their ambition.
Precisely. When that harmony, that sense of control, replaces the constant haste and panic, that's when true, lasting, all-round development really happens.
Harmony replaces haste. That's a great way to put it.
So you listening now have the toolkit. You understand the problem, the causes, the symptoms. You have 30 concrete strategies, from tiny habits to big institutional changes. Our final challenge for you is this. Go back to that self-assessment score you calculated. Be honest. Which single strategy we discussed today, maybe it's time blocking, maybe it's saying no more often, maybe it's finally committing to those 78 hours of sleep, which one thing are you currently neglecting?
The one thing that could make the biggest difference.
Yes, the one thing that if you truly committed to implementing it consistently for the next, say, 3 weeks, would likely shift your score out of that moderate or severe imbalance zone and into healthy.
Identify that leverage point.
Find that one key commitment and put your energy there first.
Yeah.
Master that one thing.
That's the challenge. Excellent. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into time discipline, strategic balance, and the art of achieving great things without burning out. Go forth, use these tools, and build a life that's not just successful, but truly sustainable and hopefully more enjoyable too.